Good evening and welcome back to Mystic Matters. Mystic Matters. Mystic really
Susette!
matters.
Look, I'm here.
Kristin Hartnett is back in the studio.
Oh, I'm so glad to be back.
Live.
I
But
missed
Kristin,
you.
well, I tell you what, we missed you.
Thank you.
Thank you for picking such wonderful co-hosts.
Not bad, not
but
bad.
you know, when you've worked with somebody for so many years, it's kind of like somebody finishes your sentence, somebody pitches in, and it's I guess it's more of a comfort level. But I've missed you.
Oh, thank you.
You've done a great job,
I've missed
and I'm
you,
glad you're back.
Thanks.
You know, I'm not going to say on TV that you owe me, but anyways, I don't know if I said that loud enough, but a little bit. But you know, but I'm so glad. Did you have some great time? Well, actually, Kristin works very hard for the
I know,
chamber.
right? Like, I'm
so a
on
lot of
vacation.
times, yeah, she's on vacation, but a
tan.
lot of times we've got some stuff going on at the chamber that she needs to be at. So
Yeah.
yeah. So what have we got going on?
The Mystic Outdoor Art Festival. What
Is it
else
that time
is there?
of
It's
year
that
again?
time of year again.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
so thrilled. August 10th and 11th.
Coming up.
Come down to downtown Mystic and see over 230 artists.
Yeah,
from all over the
volunteers, though.
country. We do
Volunteers.
still have time for
Yep.
volunteers. There's a few more days until the festival. So if you've been waiting to see the weather's going to be perfect, that's because I said it on TV.
Right, Kristin. We usually say it's going to be weather. We've been there when it's been.
This is
You
a
know.
rain or shine
Yeah.
event, and
Yes,
so
it
that's
is.
why we've been there. Anyway, it's a fantastic event, and we have some new artists this year, and we have the emerging artists, the student artists.
Wonderful.
It's
Yeah.
been a great show, and a shout out to Amanda Arling, the
Yeah.
chair of the committee.
Absolutely, yeah.
She's
Amanda
a
so
hot
done a great
ticket.
job and
Yes.
worked very hard. So that is our big news. I mean, of course, that is the Chamber of Commerce biggest, basically revenue
That's what's- yeah.
generator. So we've done very, very good in sponsorships, and you guys will all be listed in our little program book that's going to be coming out soon, and also a list of the artists, right, and their booth numbers, and also visit our booths, and you'll be able to buy our wonderful T-shirts this year.
Yep.
That, there's a lot of people, Kristin, that collect those T-shirts.
Yeah, every year, a lot of the artists get a T-shirt. Some of the
Yeah.
artists that have been there for years. This is a 62nd annual Mystic Outdoor Art Festival, and so some people have a lot of T-shirts. That's what I'm saying. That's a lot of T-shirts.
It's a lot of T-shirts,
Yeah.
but they love it, and you know it's going to be a great show. So
Speaking of our great show,
we have, for the very first time, and I'm going to give a little cue to Frank here. We have a self-intro.
these creative people.
Introduction to herself, and you're going to be able to see this in just 2 seconds.
Can't wait.
Frank?
Yeah. Hi, artist Katie Fogg here from New London, Connecticut. I am very excited to be sharing my joy in painting over in Mystic, Connecticut, which is right over the bridge.
Live and in person, welcome, Katie Fogg.
Ta-da,
everybody.
Fantastic, Kristin. Why did we ever think of that?
I know.
I
Let me know if you need it.
love that introduction. That was fantastic, Katie, and welcome.
Thank you so
First time.
much.
First time at the Mystic Outdoor Art Festival.
Yeah, I've
Congratulations.
heard. Thank you. I'm really excited. I've been hearing about it for years, and
How could you be hearing about it for you? I mean, Katie, I mean,
Why?
it can't be 62 years. I mean, please.
Well,
you know,
31, half of it. No, I've always been asked to do it, and I'm a very active painter, and everyone's like, have you ever done the Mystic Outdoor Festival? I'm like, no. And so this year, I wanted to give it a go, and what an experience so far. I've met so many people from Mystic and out of state, out of the country,
Wow.
a lot of tourists, and man, it is busy during the summer.
Right.
I am right in the middle of it.
I noticed you said you were a traveler in your introduction.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, since now you have a lot of Mystic paintings, do you go elsewhere and do the same thing?
Yeah, so trying to get out of my comfort zone all the time. And recently, well, actually 4 years ago, I started this little goal for myself to travel, because I never really traveled growing up, and I was like, I'm just gonna go somewhere different for my birthday every year. But this past, and every year I go somewhere, California, Puerto Rico.
Since when did you start this, though, Katie?
4 years ago.
4 years ago, okay.
Yeah. And mind you, I went to school. I got my bachelor's at Lime Academy, great school, and master's in fine arts in New York, at New York Academy. But plein air was always a thing for me to do during the summer. I love being outside. So as long as I'm painting and having fun, that's my thing. And so this past April, I decided to see a little bit more of the United States. So I took my car, and a friend of mine, my nice little assistant, Gwen, who also works in Mystic, she came along with me to kind of be my little sidekick as she was posting on social media, something I'm kind of not really a fan of doing a lot. I like to be in the moment.
Right.
And so I traveled through 6 different states. Well, I traveled to 6 different states, but through a lot more. And each spot I stopped and did a painting and kept moving on. And it was such a great experience. So I definitely like to see myself now as a traveler for sure. But if I'm going somewhere, I have to paint. I cannot paint with the beauty I'm taking in everywhere. So.
But it's also the memories.
Oh yeah.
Right. So the paintings reflect basically your travel.
Yes.
And
it's like a history.
Exactly. Instead
yeah.
of some of us taking pictures, she's actually, in the moment, actually painting what you find interesting.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So you have a couple of different paintings behind us, but
I do.
Your medium is what?
Mostly oils. I also dabble into acrylics. I mean, I've done printmaking, you name it, but oil painting is my main focus. I have a very traditional background, but like a contemporary discourse. So I think that's why they become so vibrant and colorful and structured, because I have this little modern twist to them. And it goes along with what community you're in too.
Right.
So as I change my environment, my palette tends to kind of change with it. So it's really neat.
We just can't stay there in the same place at any time. I mean, it's a wonderful change, because change is also growth.
Yeah.
And I can see that in this. So you sort of have this different side of the brain here too, with what's behind me.
Yeah.
I want to talk a little bit about this, because you have that structured, vibrant sort of in you.
Yes.
Okay. And then you have this, which I don't want to forget about, because this is gorgeous.
Yeah,
so the reason I brought these ones here is because I've had so many conversations while I'm out painting. Recently, this weekend, someone approached me. Everyone has questions, curious what I'm doing, what I'm painting. And a woman was she got a new condo, and she was like, oh, I really love what you're doing. Do you sell these? And I'm like, yeah, of course I do. And I also let her know that I'm very versatile. I work in many different styles. So when the seasons tend to get a little cold and dreary, I tend to be in my studio a lot more. And that's what I try to kind of let out my what I call soul work. Through my traditional training and figurative training, I've become very rhythmic with my hand. So I kind of dance in my studio and I paint to music. And I've also trademarked this.
Fun, right?
Yeah.
A lot of fun.
Yes, I've actually been talking to a lot of women about it, because it's like a self-healing process too, where I just let go. I don't really have any sort of expectations on an end result, and I let the hands and color kind of move. Yes,
right.
Yes.
And so that's where we have this.
Yeah, and it's been done throughout history, with surrealists and things. It's kind of an automatic way of painting or drawing, where almost like the subconscious mind comes out. However, with my training, I can kind of design the painting probably a little bit better and stuff. But I've taught it I've taught it in different environments, like during my job as a clinical case manager. I bring art to I run groups and try to bring a creative source to a group home setting.
Wow.
So yeah, it's a lot of fun.
When do you think that you first got into painting or figured out that you were a creative person?
I mean, it all started when I was young, and it was kind of my way to escape and just go into my own world, and I still do the same thing. I still listen to music and paint. It's just, it's that state of peace and creativity that I just fell in love with, and I've been doing it all my life pretty much. So I find myself wanting to do it more and more and more. I mean, and then what's great is realizing how much it inspires and connects with the community around you. It's coming out more and more every year where I'm doing, I did a class recently with Sound Community in New London and taught an art class there, and there's a traveling show called The Art of Healing. So not only doing things for myself, but also offering it to other people who might not have really learned that creative outlet as a healthy outlet to utilize. So I figured the more I do it out and about, especially with plein air, I'm not only like I'm painting, but I'm also in front of everybody.
Right. You're actually teaching.
And
it's
yeah,
a teaching, you're sort of mentoring. But through your work.
Yeah, I even have. Yeah, and I've had. What's great is like I had little kids come up and they're just like they're awed by what I'm doing, and so sometimes I say come over and I have them take the paintbrush and add a little something to my painting, and it just makes their day. So it's great. It's a great experience.
Now, anybody that's brave enough to do their craft in the middle of like Main Street and allow other people to interact with them, that's a form of healing itself. You know, for you to occupy that present moment and be able to share that kind of muse with everybody else.
I'd
That's
be
great.
very nervous and it wouldn't come out like this. So I may be like, please don't look at
Don't
me.
touch it.
Don't touch it, you know.
It
So
just
this
came
is
so
really
natural.
an art and a craft. Yeah, I can see where you can be one with yourself and kind of do this stuff.
Yeah.
I want to just concentrate on some of the images that you brought forward. And Frank, if you could just roll the first image, because we do have them in back of us, but you have to see, look at that. And I love what Kristin just said prior to the show. She's, we grew up with Mystic Pizza. I mean, it's been our backyard. But the way, the imagery that you have portrayed here and the way that this comes up, just beautiful.
Yeah, it's almost romantic.
Yeah,
It's the sky and, I love it.
That means a lot to me because, I mean, of course, yes, it's a very big tourist attraction, but I've always been the next door neighbor. Like I've been around, I've seen it. But I remember as a young girl, I also had a love for Julia Roberts. And so when you said romantic, it's kind of neat because, again, like I'm so in the present moment, I'm not really even realizing at that time how I'm connecting this all together. And then once it's done and there's conversations around it, all the pieces come together and you realize like I was able to portray exactly what I wanted because I was at that
that
good
place.
Minds, that
Right.
place, that
Right.
mindset. It's really amazing.
And the next one, Frank?
This looks like the view of the seaport.
On the riverside, right?
Yeah,
on this
and I've
side.
learned that
From,
this ship, the Viking longship.
Yes!
Yes.
Yes.
So there's a wall. Maybe you ladies can help me on what street that is with the engine room and
That's
It's
Home Street.
So
Yeah,
that
that's
there's a
Home Street.
wall
Yeah,
right
there's
there.
a lot of the artists paint that.
Yeah,
yes.
and so unfortunately my poor knees, need to start sitting more because I'm standing so much. So I was able to sit right on that wall and paint from there. And
wow, so that's the angle that you're sort of at.
Yeah.
You're sitting, and then you've got your palette up there.
Yeah, the
That's
sun
great.
started to set. It was such a gorgeous day. You can see like there's this big white tent to the right. The light was starting to reflect on it. And yeah, it was a beautiful day, and that's another thing. Like I'm just sitting there enjoying myself and portraying an image that then can be carried on. And
Sure.
it's really nice. Yeah.
And the next one, Frank? All right, where is this?
So, right.
This is actually 2 paintings put together.
Yeah, this is a diptych. I've been doing these like diptych kind of formats, which are really nice. So these images can really stand alone if you want them to. However, I was very attached to the image on the right. That corner is like, I love that corner. What a busy intersection too. So obviously I've caught the calm of the storm, but this is by the flower fountain.
Right. Yeah.
It's Finer Line Gallery, and then
that's correct.
And then the fountain.
Yep.
And NL Shaw. That's NL Shaw
so
there.
So they're actually So you've got that, and then.
So I'm sitting. There's again a little wall, not the one you see, but the one across from it, with a nice little tree over it, so I can get some shade. And
you're at Bank Square. You're on the other side.
Yep.
Painting that.
Well, you know what else is so great, and I'm just realizing that there is no people in it.
No.
I know. Well,
no wonder it's
a very busy center. And I'm okay.
But that's why it's so.
I love it.
Like I'm not focused on that though.
No,
I'm focused.
No, that's I love that conversation. Yeah, it really is, because this is what.
And one more
nice
thing, this was a really neat day because I captured Flag Day in Mystic. I didn't know it was Flag Day, which is June 14th. 14th.
June 14th.
Okay, you correct me.
Yeah, June 14th.
I thought it was on point there.
But the flags were up.
So the flags were up, and then I went to go they were saved for last. And then all of a sudden, I see all these guys picking up the flags and putting them in the car. I'm like, wait.
Wait, can I have this flag, please? Just
I was like, oh, no, the flags are gone. But, with the drawing down and everything, I was able to kind of use, what's neat is I can still use my memory and still capture them.
This is fantastic. That's great.
So, it was neat. And I was talking to, I think it was the Boy Scouts or something that were doing it.
Up.
So, again, I'm just meeting all these people that are engaged in the community.
The Boy Scouts help, and it's a Flag Day committee.
Yeah, there you go.
Next one, Frank.
Oh, there she is.
Yeah, just wanted to give you a little shot in action on how kind of I start these paintings, me actually being there where I'm at. So just wanted to share kind of like my thought process when I'm going to set up. I try to bring as minimal as possible. And I was next to like this flower pot where I can kind of sit once in a while. But this is facing the drawbridge. I was in front of the rose. I met the owner there. She was really nice.
Patty Mainville?
Yeah, she's sweet. She let me use, the restroom if I needed it, which is not something you think about when you're out and about all day long for 6 to 7 hours, So the drawbridge was a very fun, challenging subject to paint because of all the structure and the lines.
Right, the steel,
And that is the one that I have behind you, Kristin, and so that, like I said, just wanted to give you a glimpse.
Now you see the palette; it looks like it's just a bunch of color right now. Yeah, and you were talking about that before, of how your paintings get so colorful.
Yeah, so in a little bit I'll show you. I brought a blank panel, which I paint mostly on wood. It's a nice flat surface, and it keeps that smooth texture that I want. So you can see that most of the painting here is orange, and I started with a base of orange to allow other colors to pop.
To come through.
And the next one.
Another action photo. So this photo actually was taken by a stranger who came up to me. It was a couple, and the gentleman was like, "Can I get a shot of you, painting?" And I'm like, "Sure. If you find me on social media, I just handed my card if you wanted to share it or find me." And I thought it was a great shot. It was this painting I'm actually still working on, and it's facing the drawbridge again. And I met the individual who made like the signs for Mystical Toys and S&P Oyster. I got some friends now, which is great. Yeah. So they come by and make sure I'm good to go for the day and say hi.
You're right. You're butting the Whalers in there too, so it's great.
Yeah. Well, I had the shade, so the shadow started going away, so I started inching myself back.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, it's great. Yeah.
Is there another one or? Yes.
And there's kind of the in-process image. That's where I left off. So again, here's a green background,
right.
Giving it some sort of other essence, and saving the nice bridge for last. All that intricate lines.
That's going to be the surprise.
Yeah, that will just
And that'll be at the
image a
show.
whole. Of course, all these will be at the show.
That's excellent.
So,
So the
yeah.
one behind me, which I don't know,
The
probably can't
rose,
zoom in,
right.
but
It's
that's the one that you were painting, and
Yeah.
that's what you finished.
That had the orange
So you can see, the orange like pulls out right here. I
Right.
love that. And then behind you is the panel that you were talking about, the color.
Yeah. So,
right, so
yeah.
right behind you, right
So
there.
you can
that's
see
just
kind of the green,
Yeah.
or it's like a lime green. So I plan on doing a few more. I'm painting until the
right.
day
So
of.
you have a lot of images there.
I will. Yeah, I'll have an array of all the places I've traveled from, Puerto Rico, California, and
There'll be
here.
a lot of people there that
Yeah.
are going to be able to relate to your images.
Mm-hmm.
How long typically? And I know sometimes artists. My husband's an artist, so he can't.
Okay.
Unless you can't tell me the answer to this, but typically, how long does it take from start to finish on a painting?
I'd really like to complete a painting within a day, and sometimes it is possible. It depends on the intricate lines, such as the ones I'm doing with the drawbridge. So they're taking me a few sessions, those are days. So I'll go in for about 4 hours, and
Into
then
the
I'll do
studio. Yeah.
no, it's all on site.
Okay.
So
All right, yeah.
I paint from observation. I do not bring my paintings and finish them in the studio. I lose color. I lose that essence that's there, in real life.
That's
so
very important.
Oh, it's very
It's
important
something
to
different
me.
that all the artists I think that we've dealt with over the years.
Yeah, I think artists definitely bring their work into the studio, and it does bring an additional essence to it, but I really like to do them all on site. So it can go anywhere from 2 to 3 sessions at the most. Hopefully not. I mean, even the one that I have behind me is a larger scale. And sometimes the larger ones don't take as long. It's actually the smaller ones because you're using
Well, you're
a
not so
smaller
interested-
brush,
yeah, right,
smaller
right.
tool. So the larger ones, which I'll be creating a couple more of these larger ones, might just take me a day, maybe a day and a half. So not that long.
Now, do you remember when you first started selling paintings? Were you like, oh my gosh, like what happened?
Of course I do. Oh
one.
my, the first. So when I graduated from Lime Academy with my bachelor's, we had our senior exhibition. And that's kind of where it all took off. I sold a few paintings for a good amount of money, and it was exciting. It was emotional. Over the years, I realized that I was attached to my imagery. It was a piece of me kind of going off into the world, But it really, I think that becomes a motivation as well. You start to, again, accept the fact that you are running a business too. But I'm very emotionally attached, so it's very personal.
Like a parent.
That's
getting
what.
ready to
Let's
say,
go ahead and bring the child
right, and then
into
you get
the
the empty
conversation.
nester, and then you send them off to college.
It is,
Then
it
you're
is.
like, now what?
And it's weird because then sometimes you still have the older ones hanging out while
Yeah,
the young ones go.
And you
like,
know what?
why?
They gotta go. You know what I mean? When are they gonna get their own
That's
apartment?
just how it works.
They gotta go to an apartment or something. You know,
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah. Hence, I'm the baby of 4, and I'm the one that's like going.
Yeah.
about.
See, you said they're staying too close to home. I'm out of here.
Yeah, they-
No, but I can
so.
see that with emo because literally, what Katie has here is you can actually say you've got one of a kind. She is painting on site. It's one of a kind, and so you're getting something very special.
Yeah, I'm a
if
little
you
panicked
purchase.
about that actually because I love this one so much, and I'm like, well, what should I do about that?
I
like,
think.
I have to
well,
buy
I can
the
tell
painting
you,
because
since
you don't.
left me for so long. I personally think that you could at least commit to it. You know what I mean? Because it really. I understand that about Mystic Pizza though, because I'm going to tell you, living here, all of my life, and Kristin as well. Listen. Mystic Pizza is something you walk down, you see it every day. But when it's captured in a way that you like
people, yeah.
yes, you really
It's not that I
should.
don't like people. Obviously, I like people, but the charm of Mystic
Yes,
is in the
yes.
middle of the winter, right?
Yes.
And
Oh,
then
yes.
there's people that live here. They chose to live here, and you can
Yeah.
still see the outline of why it's so attractive.
Right.
You know,
Right.
and these paintings especially do that.
Right, they do.
So it's
Yeah.
like dawn, and you know, the town itself just has some kind of personality that seems to shine through these. So
Yeah. I think you really captured it very.
So do
very
you do
nicely.
prints or postcards
So-
or anything like
Oh,
that?
here we go. She's now looking for. I can feel this here. This is like, if you get rid of that, then what do I have?
So, I mean, this is a big growing process for me as an independent artist. And I've always been interested in making prints. But this is going to be the first time that I'm going to have prints available. So I will, all the ones that are in Mystic will be available by print. And then you could also inquire with me personally about getting your own. I will have a few of my prints of the Mystic Pizza that will be these limited editions that I'll do a personal sketch at the bottom of them as well. And this is something I learned from mentors and painters that I've worked with over the years, that they've done these sketches below, and it does increase the value of the print over time, but it gives it a personal touch. And so I thought that was really neat. So what I'm going to do is get a few prints done and go back on site and do some little mini sketches on the print itself.
Yeah, so that makes it. Well, I think really you should save one. No, I'm just saying for the co-host over here, unless there's a deal made tonight, for Mystic Pizza. But just very, we've seen, I think combined with Kristin and I was going to say hundreds of paintings, but it really isn't hundreds, it's thousands and thousands and thousands. And it's wonderful to meet somebody that's new and fresh and really still finding yourself.
Yeah,
And still finding yourself and still creating. But out of that creativity is coming out with a new outlook on artwork. And so I really think that's just an inspiration to myself.
It's very personal too. That's
Yes,
what really
it's
touches me, what I like about it. You can really feel that coming out of the paintings and meeting you as well. So
Yeah, I appreciate it a lot. And
you're going to be busy this weekend. Oh my God.
I think you are. You're going to be,
You're just going to.
Well, again, my assistant,
Yeah.
Miss Gwen, will be with me, making sure she's my second hand.
And what's nice about the art festival too, so that Katie's one of our obviously coming up artists, and usually we have the volunteers that walk around and make sure that there's water. We need to take a potty break or whatever. So you'll have that, but it's good to have Gwen, assist you as well, because you always need that one other person, I think, that can also sell your stuff.
Yeah.
She says I can. She probably says I know you the most, and probably can tell you your good habits. And all that other stuff too. But
Now, do you have something that you'd like to say to any young artists that might be watching the show?
Well, I always like to share that it's a never-ending process. You're constantly growing, and it's getting exciting. And I've been around a lot of artists that have become very stressed through certain things because they have expectations. I mean, we all want to do better and be better, but it's better to just keep practicing, keep going, keep the doors open, and relax a little bit, because it's not going to stop.
Yeah.
That's a great philosophy for
life.
life.
It is, yeah. You're a little bit older for your years,
Keep the doors open.
But Katie Fogg, thank you so much. So exciting. And let's just, Frank, right up there, we've got the Art Festival information, and then Katie's information as well, if you have it, just her booth number, but you can tell us too where you're going to be.
I'll be
there you
at
go.
booth number 124, corner of Water Street and West Main
That's
Street.
going to be great.
And I'll have my images available around that time online as well on my website, katiefogg.com.
Perfect.
Fantastic. So we are the Greater Mystic Chamber of Commerce. Of course, Mystic Matters, Katie Matters, and Kristin Hartnett
And
matters.
Susette matters.
Well, every once in a while, she leaves me all by myself, but we all matter. Listen, good evening, everybody. We'll see you this weekend. Come on down. We'll be walking around. Have a great evening.